Good evening mga kalaro and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro lang channel where Sportitos talk about a different kind of game. The reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades. Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon, and with me as always is Vice Chief Bisdak Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
Hi. I just want to put this out there because I want to put it out there. I've been watching The Mole. It's pretty good.
I
see.
All right. That's the new another. Are we going to get into the mole? Anyway, before that, we also have with us the man with the thoughts. Let's all welcome the one and only Martin. How are you doing, Marts?
Doing fine here in rainy Metro Manila. I hope the rain has kind of died down in your area, Joel. Or still
I
strong?
think it's still going on right now. I just closed my windows because the rain and winds. It's a stormy night as of recording. It's a stormy weekend while we're recording this, so yeah, we hope that everyone stays safe and dry. For tonight, the council takes a look at episode 6 of season 43, entitled Mergatory. Off the top of our heads, gentlemen, what do we think of this episode as a whole?
God, it whipped up a storm.
Wow.
Gabler, man. Gabler.
Wow.
The rise of the Ellie Gabler.
Ellie
I like this
Gabler.
episode. I like this episode, man.
Yeah, this was fun.
I prefer Cody's. What Cody would have called it? Normandy?
Norman.
Right? Because like I don't think I've ever thought about the survivors going on that beach as something like Normandy, right? Because they're all like, oh, so nice to each other and everything, but really it's like they're going to war on the beach.
Yeah.
So it's like
You're right.
Battle of Normandy.
You're right. So yeah, I mean, Cody showing a bit of like depth. There's more than meets the eye to Martin's ass man.
Oh wait, no, this was what's his name?
Yes, man. Yes, man.
BYOB.
BYOB. That was Sammy. That was Sammy.
Sammy,
right?
yeah.
That was Sammy.
Anyway.
Saying that. Anyway, let's without further ado, let's get right into it with our highs. And I will, just like how Ja was putting it out there because he wanted to put it out there, I also want to put it out there that for the first time in, I think, for this season, I've got a lot of highs. There were a lot of highs for me for this episode and not a lot of lows for some reason.
Excellent.
But let's go to your highs first, guys. Let's start with Martin.
All right. What I said earlier, mother freaking Gabler, man. No, strategy-wise, that was a bit bad because he threw 2 people under the bus. And I know Sammy and Owen told me that you were looking through my stuff, like through my bag. No, technically speaking, Ellie did not, but she did command somebody to open that bag, didn't she? And check if there's an
Check
advantage or
Check
or
the
the-
note
To
again.
check the note.
to check the note.
It was a confirmatory thing, which was kind of
Yes.
weird.
So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, literally you did not, but at the same time, you had someone did it. By essence, that's still you.
Yeah,
What's
because
the
Ellie
legal
for
term
the
on that, Joe? If like you let someone
guilt by
commit a crime,
association.
it's not you, but it was you who initiated said intention of crime.
What's it? I'll have to ask my wife, but I think it is you are the
accomplice. No, you're not.
principal. You are principal by induction or something like that.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's what it
the term,
calls.
yeah.
Like you are just as liable as the person that committed the crime because you were the one that told them to commit the crime. So you are principally liable by inducing the person.
The crime.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So if ever we have like Kalaro out there who know what if Ja was right, let us know. Hit us on the comments.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gabler with a nuke. He nuked. He started the he started the crash that we had been waiting for. Right,
It
Ja?
wasn't a
We've been
Bem
waiting
bomb,
for
but
like,
dear God.
Yeah, that was.
Wow.
I think that was my high, man. Like this was the culmination of the Baka meltdown that we were promised
yeah.
from the very beginning. and we got it, and it was spectacular, right?
Oh my God!
And Owen came out unscathed, which is amazing.
But I didn't actually notice this. I only noticed it because I was watching another a podcast, No Buffs, by the guys who started the starters way back when. That Owen was actually voted with Ellie and Janine. He didn't vote against them. His vote, I think it was his vote he had the second James vote.
Yeah. Which is it doesn't look good for Owen.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look good for our Asian representative, for either of our Asian representatives, for that matter.
Yeah.
But like he was there when Janine opened the bag, right?
Yeah. It was the three of them, right?
Yeah. It was the three of them. But like his name wasn't ever thrown out by the Ellie Gabler this episode as somebody that was part of that conspiracy, since we're going with like legal terms, as part of that conspiracy to commit the crime of bag opening, right?
So technically, he's not liable.
Or he is. He is.
Some liability, but he's not directly. He's like a witness to said liability. Or is that like a passenger kind of? What's that term again? Oh God!
Like let's not get bogged down.
Yeah,
by
let's not
terms.
get bogged down. Yeah, by the terms. But
yeah, he was there when it happened. And
high is Gabler, and high is the fact that there's no freaking hourglass.
No hourglass. No,
yeah,
no hourglass.
Damn,
that was
best.
pretty good. That was good. I think the entire Survivor fandom community breathed a collective sigh of relief when they found out that there was no
except
more
Rocktroy. Sorry, Rocktroy.
I, for one, am going to be very sad that we're not going to hear the guys from No Buffs call it the shillelagh of time.
Not anymore.
Of time.
Like they're not going to be talking about the shillelagh of time anymore. So that's going to be a term that's lost to history.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Who knows? Jeff might introduce it in another point in time.
Oh,
you
God,
never know.
no.
But
Please,
but
no.
I think that he already said that for this season, it's not gonna come up.
Yeah, he made a point out of it, right? Like, no player is going to take that from you. Like, oh, but production might. Oh,
yeah. Who knows?
But yeah,
oh no,
man. That was quite the high. No shillelagh of time.
No shillelagh of time. Just going back to the Gabler's nuke, right? I really like the fact that with just that one statement, one statement of, well, Ellie went through my bag during the merge. They didn't call it the merge feast. They called it the merge meal. Maybe because it wasn't that big. I don't know. But just with that one statement, he blew up so many games. He blew up Ellie's game. He blew up Janine's game. He essentially blew up Owen's game. Right?
What game?
And well, no, Owen has game, I think.
Okay.
I think that he's pretty what do you call this? He's pretty perceptive and he's doing stuff. And he more or less, I think, solidified the alliance that he has with Sammy.
Yeah, actually, because he mentioned Sammy telling him about the bag thing.
Yeah. Well, he actually threw both Sammy and Owen under the bus.
To Ellie.
Yeah, by saying that they were the ones who told him.
They were the who told me that you were searching through my bag.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was, for me, again, I'm still rooting for Gabler. And finally he comes out with his nickname, the Ellie Gabler.
The Ellie Gabler.
Oh, I know this is like the end of the episode, but this is one of the highest too. It's like, Ellie got voted off, and it's like, nice job. Don't do blah blah blah. Be with Gabler.
No, that's what you get. That's what you get for trusting Gabler.
Yeah.
Did you even trust Gabler, Ellie? Did you?
I root for him. I root for Gabler.
Ellie.
Her. No, she did.
It was so fun. Like,
she never
I
did.
don't think that's gonna ruin Gabler's game. It's more like gonna be like, okay, guys, let's not try to F with Gabler. He might throw off our games indirectly, like what just happened with the yellow tribe. He can be a number, he can be a vote. Just don't fuck with the guy.
All we know is that Gabler is now like a force of nature.
Exactly.
A force of Gabler.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry about the F-bombs.
And I mean that's what I've been saying. He's gonna become Jonathan Young, man. He is gonna become a force of nature.
Are you sure it's not also like Jonathan Penner in terms of confronting your tribe mates? Well, without the flip-flopping.
Jonathan Young confronted his tribe mates. Right? He did that. I don't think that we can just say that he was like just a brute. He had a bit of smarts.
Gabler is so unpredictable. That's the thing that makes it. That's the thing that makes him a force of nature.
Yeah,
he's like the raging tsunami.
Like, the raging tsunami or a typhoon. Okay, man.
And it's a lot of. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch. Personally, it's a lot of fun to watch him. It's a lot because the way that his look is very fun to watch, and the way that he acts is fun to watch. That's why I'm a Gabler stan.
Yes.
All right. Any other highs? Let's talk about your other highs.
The challenge was even though it's still like Big Brother on a beach ish, right? It's now like American Ninja Warrior on a beach, which is because of the wall, right? Because of the wall, you got to scale a wall.
Yeah,
Carlos started bleeding. That
was like so. Yeah. Anyway,
that's Survivor, at least according to Jeff.
That's how you do it in Survivor.
But like it was a good challenge, right? The merge challenge is always or at least for the past at least for the past couple of seasons, the earn the merge challenge has been like brutal, and this one seemed pretty brutal, and that's Survivor, the sort of Survivor that I like, I guess. Where the immunity challenges are brutal.
Yeah.
I still miss the Survivor related challenges, like, hey, get the attention of a person on a plane. But, like,
hey.
But if they're not going to do one of those immunity challenges, like, all right, you're going to run from one side of the island of Fiji to another while collecting yellow flags or whatever, like do something that's brutal.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then we did. I shared a YouTube video from, I think that was, what was that, Peridium, or was that once on this island?
Once upon an island. I can't.
Once upon an island. The most brutal challenges. Yeah. Right. And I mentioned this last week also. The challenge when Penner got like wood stuck on his thigh was, I think that was number 1 in that list. So it was
yeah.
So yeah, that happens. That's the kind of challenge that we missed, that I sort of saw again when I started watching Survivor Australia. But yeah, we're missing it from, I guess that they want safety. They're highlighting safety for Survivor US. I mean, it's still gonna be tough challenges, but it's more, they err towards the side of caution for the challenges in Survivor US.
But that's not how they do it on Survivor.
That's how they do it in Survivor US.
That's how they do it in Survivor Australia.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're likely to get like a broken, knee or something, or like a
in the latest one, Sandra's daughter, I think she broke her ankle.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah. Because Sandra and her daughter it was blood versus water. The latest Survivor Australia season was blood versus water. So Sandra and her daughter participated, and her daughter broke her ankle in one of the challenges, but just going down. Yeah. So
That's crazy.
speaking of Sandra, I do think that we are seeing signs of Sandra 2.0 in this season with the survivor, the castaway who has like uh subverted my expectations in Carla.
Yeah,
Right?
she's in
We're
such a good spot.
very, very good spot.
Like
Yeah.
but her closest ally James got 2 votes that he wasn't expecting. So
Mhm.
that might have taken her down. That might be foreshadowing or whatever. But she's in such a good spot. Oh my god.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Well, actually, if you think about it, the non Ellie votes were all on Coco, right? Cassidy and James.
Yeah.
Ryan got off scot free for some reason. This
Because
might
he's
being the
Spider-Man.
because he's Spider Man. He did the Spider Man, and yeah. But going back to Carla, I love the fact that she had such a cool head on her. She was the one who noticed that okay, this is gonna be a merge, but something's. I mean, I'm sure that everyone else thought about it, and they did point it out on no buffs. But she was the one who was given the testimonial about something else happening, right?
Yeah.
So that shows that production is sort of editing her that way. She's the
Yeah.
one who's observant about different things, right? And
She's the street smart one in a way.
yeah, yeah. And on top of that, I mean, fighting through that, I don't know, crushed hand, maybe,
Good lord.
right?
That looked so painful.
That's I can just imagine it would have been throbbing the entire time, and then every time that she would catch that net going up, I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? How can you even close your hand around that? And then the net is rough. It's gonna hurt your hand even more. That's
she had help from Spider-Man.
yeah. Spider-Man helped her.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah. So that. Marts, what are your thoughts about Carla?
Oh, Carla. Oh God, yeah, I forgot. That's one of the highs. Like, I think she saw like what's going on because all the chaos going on. Oh, we're gonna vote for this guy and this guy, and now they're voting for. They're targeting Coco now. When who's that guy again? Dwight went over there. Oh, just
Dwight,
got to
yeah.
talk with Ellie and Janine, and we got 2 new targets.
Oh no, it wasn't
Wins
Dwight. That
at
was Ryan.
Oh, Ryan.
Ryan was
Okay,
the one who told
sorry,
them.
sorry. Yeah, sorry, Ryan.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Vote and then points at James, points at Cassidy. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we're going Ellie. Ellie? Yeah, Ellie.
Mm.
I think we can I want to transition that to the lows because Ellie was trying to put her name out of the way so much it just came back to haunt her. But then again, I think they
yeah.
saw her as a strategic threat as well. It's not just because
Maybe
of
we
her
don't
game
really
being blown
get
up.
to see a lot of context with regards to
The
how
vote.
they came up with the Ellie vote, right?
Yeah. Because I personally don't think Gabler has that much power.
Yeah.
in the overall sort of power structure. He's not one of the power players, but the show gave him credit because he was the only one that
Who
put
said
Ellie's name out there. So like, but he might have he was the one that got the ball rolling,
Mhm.
but he wasn't the one that pushed the ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
To,
he didn't. After he threw that bomb in the middle of the merge meal, he
Merge.
hardly communicated with anyone else outside of Sammy
Yes.
and Owen, right?
Yeah, so I found that kind of weird, but yeah, that bodes well for Gabler
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
like even though I don't think he was a big power player
Mhm.
in this round of the game, the show gave him the credit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
her name popped up first from him.
yeah,
But I think, yeah, I really felt like it was during that time when the Blue Tribe, Coco, were talking to each other, and then, yeah, Spider-Man talked about Ellie giving those names out.
Mm.
Like, she was scrambling too much. I think that just screwed her up more.
And I think it was also Ryan who mentioned. No, I think it was it was Ryan. Was it Ryan who mentioned to Vesey that Cody was gonna be the vote?
Wasn't Cody the real vote anyway? And then they were saying
no. The real vote was gonna be James.
Oh, James.
James or Cassidy. They were gonna split the votes between James or Cassidy. But the PR vote
in Baka
was gonna be what do you call this? Cody. That's why the Vesey tribe also didn't want to work with Ellie, because why throw one of our names under the bus?
Yeah.
Right?
One of the problems with Ellie's game really was she, at least here, she threw out everybody's name. That was one of her problems. She threw out everybody's name basically, like Gabler was like one name thrown out, and that's it. And the exact polar opposite was Ellie. She was like telling everybody to vote for everybody basically.
It's like Gabler just said, Ellie drops mic, walks away.
Yeah, very very Roxroy in that way. He's very Roxroy in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was one thing that Ellie kind of did wrong, right?
Yeah.
She burned all of those bridges by throwing those names out there. That just showed her as being untrustworthy, I guess.
Yeah.
Compounded, or that was confirmatory. Like when Gabler said like she isn't trustworthy, the way she subsequently played it, sort of confirmed what, at least in the minds of the cast on the beach, like solidified or confirmed what Gabler was saying in a way.
You're right. She basically confirmed Gabler's statement that she's not either she's playing too hard, right? Going through bags, or that she's going through bags and then she'll go through yours and won't tell you.
Yeah, basically.
Right? Because that was Gabler's beef with her. The fact that she didn't give him information. Right? Yeah. That was his thing when they had that heart to heart. That was what Gabler said. You didn't tell me about you could have just asked me about my idol, and then you didn't tell me about Janine's thing. That was his thing. He just wanted to feel wanted or needed or be part of the family,
So Ellie got it wrong. The needy son is Gabler.
No, more of not probably Owen. The needy uncle.
The needy uncle.
Yeah.
Needy Uncle Gay.
Yeah. So the psychologist got it wrong there, and then her psychology talk also didn't sway James, because James was one of the first people that she wanted to get on her side, even though she was voting for him, right? But like James was like, no, there's something wrong here. That's why I think that there's something else that might have happened to really spur the whole untrustworthiness of Ellie among the other tribes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other highs on your side?
Of course. This is a great episode. I like where they landed. No shillelagh of time. But you narrow down the people that can be voted for to half the tribe, and everybody gets a vote, instead of what they had last time. That was only 6 people that got to vote, right? Like, to have everybody voting for 6 people makes it easier for everybody to track,
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just not that experienced, not as experienced as you guys are, when it comes to like tracking the votes and all of that, and where votes are going to be going and whatnot. But seeing a limited number of people that can be voted for in a trial of 12 just made for more focused television,
Yes.
which I kind of liked. I know that not everybody does, Like there's some that prefer, the more chaotic, like, and by a vote of 2-1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, like, I know that there are people that like that sort of thing at the merge, but I like having it a little bit more focused like this.
Your thoughts on that, Martz?
It's a very good kind of mergey. It's not really the merge, like it's a prelude to merge thing. And the fact that the hourglass is gone, it makes it sweeter. And there's no more like that cliffhanger they did in 41 because there's no more, that's the best part. There's no more cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You're not wasting an episode. On the obvious on the obvious answer or obvious move that happened.
Yeah, I remember watching that. Wow. I remember watching that episode. That was
I wonder what he's gonna do.
I distinctly remember like messaging Martin. This was like, I had been watching 41, but this was like the first time that I ever messaged Martin about Survivor.
For the longest time. After I was telling you to watch Winners at War.
I didn't want to get spoiled, like, because I wouldn't be able to have the stories of all of the winners. So I started watching at 41 basically.
Okay. That's good.
And I didn't, I held off messaging Martin and all of that until the end of the season. But when that cliffhanger happened, I was like, all right. So is this a new thing that Survivor does now?
Yep.
Cliffhangers?
A new thing that lasted only 2 seasons. The cliffhanger with the shillelagh of time. Props to No Buffs for that. For coining that term.
Roy's episode, though, they didn't have a cliffhanger. Thank God.
Yeah, that was
Rockstar, because it was a 2-hour episode. Yeah.
They burned their 2-hour episode on the premiere this season.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Because I think like what we talked about, they listened to the audience and gave us a lot of tribe a beach beach video, right? Yeah. Martz, any other highs on your side, man?
Nah, actually I went to the lows.
Good? You're good. Okay, so for me,
what about you, Joe?
Yeah, for me, aside from the stuff that
I still have a bunch of highs still, but
yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give one for mine first. Yeah, so I really like the prop. I want to give props to the production, right? For like some of the B-rolls that they showed us, and they showed us something new. Like we've never seen, like before the pre-merge tribe gets into tribal, they'd have like B-rolls of like votes getting put into the urn, and then you've got the Kraken snuffer, just to remind everyone that there's supposed to be an octopus or Kraken that's supposed to show up in the season because of the logo. They show the snuffer, and it's like it's there, and it's all in slow-mo, as if Zack Snyder was like directing the episode or something. And yeah, I like the fact that they're adding, they're experimenting. I think they're still experimenting. I don't think that they still have the formula for the season, for how they're gonna produce the show for the new era. But yes, I like the fact that they showed some of those things. Yeah,
like when they were walking up to the challenge, that's something that really stood out to me. Like with the slow-mo footage that looks like, freaking that looks like it was drawing inspiration from Gladiator's final scene in the in the field or whatever. Like, yeah, it was like they called Zack Snyder and was like, yo, how do you do this? Like I don't. I was actually gonna bring that up with you guys. Is that something new for this season? Like, did I miss it in
which one?
Past couple of seasons? The
slow-mo entrances,
the super slick slow-mo entrances that aren't like drone shots, but are like
just normal camera shots.
Yeah, it's
they
like
did that before,
them
like
walking into
villains.
Sorry,
Heroes versus villains.
Oh, they did that. 20. They did that. Okay, but During challenges, they would do that.
Oh, during challenges? No. I
No,
thought you
sorry,
meant the first
before
episode.
challenges.
Yeah, like
Right?
as they were making their way towards the challenge, there
Yeah,
was so much drama
yeah.
with in the way that in the way that they basically they were giving them all like the hero edit in a way,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
It was
Right.
like I,
I mean,
to
because the slow mos, for the most part, to my recollection, the slow mos were always during
the first episode.
the OBB, the introductions,
Yeah,
right?
there.
yeah.
That's when it happens, but it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
happen in episode. It hardly ever happens in episode.
Yeah, so like that's the that's I don't
Yeah.
know if that's if that was just something that I missed or if it was just something new. And the impression that I'm getting from you guys and our survivor historian subject matter expert here is that this is something new, like something new that they're adding to their uh visual vocabulary, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
they're telling it differently. They're telling the story differently right now. I guess
Because
that's what they're trying to do,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
Marks? I mean, I can't recall, but then again, I've got like the spottiest memory among the three of us, but
because
I
like
can't recall it ever being used, the slow mo ever being used
during in
within an
challenges, right?
episode.
Oh, within an episode.
Yeah,
It's always
as
being used like during
as
the intros for episode
yeah,
ones,
the
but
OBB, right?
not mid.
yeah,
No, like no, not just the OBB. Like when they enter, like when
like
the
for the
heroes
maroonings
enter
and all of
from
that.
Okay,
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
maroonings, that happens. But
Yeah.
during challenges, it rarely happens except when there's a splash from the water to the water.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but
It
that's
it
like
happens like
those are
the
B
usual.
rolls. That's
Yeah,
not like the castaways,
yeah.
right?
yeah,
Basically, this felt like a marooning.
Mm,
yeah. It felt like a marooning
When
episode.
they were walking, when they were making their way towards the challenge.
yeah.
I
And
think that
speaking of
shouldn't.
production,
Yep,
production, the
Lexi.
other like extreme high was Owen and his like he needs the Chiron or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, and then it
I love that. The lower thirds.
was like, oh my god, I need a Chiron on my lower third, and then they were like, all right, let's give him a Chiron on his lower third, no advantage. And I was like, oh, haha, that's clever. And then they started laying out all of the advantages, and I was like, oh my god, this is so funny. But at the same time, for the people that aren't as tuned in to Survivor as podcasters and people that listen to podcasters are, it's a good way to get people caught up, right? Like, all right,
Mm.
so this is who has what, and this is sort of the lay of the land coming into the merge
The merge, the
or
earn
the
your merge.
the earn your merge, right? Like
Yeah.
this is the lay of the land, and it's like a humorous way to give a bit of an exposition dump, basically.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's what it was. It was an exposition dump.
Yeah. It was basically okay. We're good. Yeah, you're right. I won't add to that anymore. That's perfectly right. That was also one of my highs. I love that. I love that part. And it goes to show. I mean, I think that Martin got it right. He said that Owen is like the super fan. And it
Yeah.
shows us because he's the one who not coined it, but he's the one who put it out there. The chirons. Like he needs to see those things down there, right? So yeah, he is the super fan.
That doesn't bode well for him because historically super fans don't do well.
Yeah, except their second time around. But I
Yeah.
doubt he's gonna go to an all-star season.
Who
like Cochran.
knows? Who knows? We've had all
Oh.
stars who weren't necessarily all stars, or game changers who weren't necessarily game changers. We've had that. So who knows, right?
But yeah, you can tell that he's a fan of the show.
Yeah.
What remains to be seen is whether or not he's a fan of the game, because it hasn't been established yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
right now, it's looking as though he is a fan of the show.
The show, at the very least.
More than the game.
Yeah. So yeah, another high on my side is it. Well, while we did not get the who said the mergatory, right? The it was Cassidy
Yeah.
who mentioned it, so she's also a fan. I'm assuming. unless Owen could not have told her. But yeah, so it was Cassidy who got that line. But there was actually a line for me that was better. Except for the fact, maybe if this wasn't the earn your spot episode, this line would have been pretty good because for me it encapsulates what's happened so far, and that line comes from Janine, right? And it was during tribal. She said that right now it is a game of paranoia versus gut, and you've got to go with your gut a lot of the times, right? You've got to fend off the paranoia and go with your gut. And for me, that would have been a very, it encapsulates everything that's happened in pre-merge, right? Paranoia got the better of Lindsay, and those who went with their gut got ahead, all right. And those who didn't think to feel their gut, guys like Gio, uh, uh, didn't get far in the game. They got voted out.
True.
Right. So yeah, so you've got all of these things that's happening for me. That would have been paranoia versus gut would have been a nice episode title for this one.
I still think Normandy would have been like.
Oh yeah,
yeah, would have been nice. Like as a fan of Mass Effect, and they have the name Normandy in their ship. That's another show for another time.
Also, if you're a fan of like World War II history,
World War II.
you know,
if you if you're
the real history,
if you're a fan of history,
yeah,
and watch History Channel before 12 a.m.
Yeah, the actual like what happened in actual Normandy. Although if you do compare it, it would mean that yellow is the Germans.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
and you've got the red and the blue as
the British,
as the alliance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Getting into history talk in a show about Survivor. Wow. That's how all encompassing this show is.
Thanks, Cody.
Thank you very much, Cody. I think this is the second time that we're thanking Cody for getting us into talk about a totally different topic outside of Survivor, because of stuff
Thanks,
that he says. Yeah. Any other highs, Joe?
This was one of those times where I sort of understood the double talk in tribal council.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because like what's it? Because usually like I'm not as good at picking up what they're actually saying in tribal council, because like the way people talk in tribal council is not directly. I like to think of it as sort of sideways speech. That's how I have it in my mind, where you are in Filipino nagpaparinig as a as a way to communicate something to somebody. And for the first time, I was able to like clearly understand when they were talking about trust. They were straight up telling Janine, "Don't you dare play that idol."
Whether or not she picked it up, the end result still was like that, right?
Yeah. So like, I don't know. That was just a sort of personal high, a moral victory for me.
That's
if you will.
nice.
Like, oh, I actually got that.
That's nice. That's good. That's good. That's great. Yeah. A lot of times, especially during tribal, the people just like to skirt around what they actually want to say, right? And it's important for, I guess it's also it'll also come with their becoming familiar with how people talk, right? To get what they actually mean, right? So, who was it? Who was it? I do. Who was it? Who was the first person who was being interrogated by Jeff during tribal?
Whoa!
Was it Owen or it was It was a Baka, right?
Yeah,
it was Owen
Owen
or
or
Sammy.
Sammy.
Yeah, one of those
One of
guys.
the two.
Yeah, so I guess that started the gears turning in Janine's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, but while Ellie hardly picked up on any of it because she didn't she felt secure, right, up until the end.
Well, there. I'm sure that I still have quite a number of highs, but as I was mentioning before we started recording, I'm sorry for not having as many notes as I normally do. I was too busy watching Island of Advantages, the TV show.
Island of Advantages, the TV show. No,
The
it's
mole,
the mole. The
Oh,
mole.
okay.
right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
because if you like the challenges part of Survivor, then just watch the challenge. It takes the challenge part of Survivor, put that in the challenge. Now, if you take the general conceit of them going off to an island and participating in some sort of game theory thing, and you spin that off into its own TV show, it looks like the mole.
Yeah. Yeah, I always say it's like, what would happen if Among Us were a reality show, and that's for me. That's what the mole is. But we're not talking about the mole here.
That's just my way of saying I'm sorry for not taking notes.
Yeah, maybe in the future we'll come up, if they do come up with a season 2. That would be nice to take on too. But yeah, moving on, I guess, to let's go ahead with our lows. Mart, start us off here.
Like I said earlier, no, Ellie should not just scramble that bad. That was bad.
Mm-hmm.
That was just so bad.
Why so?
Like, remember that tribe was already like, oh, we have to take out James from the blue tribe because we have to continue this red and yellow, like, taking out the blue tribe, because they did so help out each other, like that time when Coco, finally had their first immunity loss, and they seemed to be buddy before this. But then when you guys did mention, when they threw the name of Cody from the red tribe and said someone from the yellow tribe, they're like, hold the phone, why are you putting Cody's name here?
Yeah.
Right. And then you start to like give other targets names and all the plans just to get your name out. But the first time, man, no one was talking about you until that part.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like wow. She just went off, like, I think how it happened for Lindsay. Like there was just a meltdown. But at least in this case, it's not like Lindsay, like Lindsay's case, like threatening like their her tribe mates, like that bad. This was still bad though. Very bad move on Ellie's part. That's just my low. The rest all
very
good. This is
sloppy.
Very
sloppy.
She tried to be coy with it. She tried to be coy with with how she wanted to do her plan, especially in the talk with James. If you noticed,
James can't buy it.
And no, James didn't buy it. James didn't wasn't convinced. Also because he noticed that Ellie wasn't giving out names.
What?
Ellie did not want to commit herself to saying names. Right? So who's the vote? And then she's like, I don't know. I just want to make sure that it's not us, and it's not whatever. And James was the one who kept on giving names, and she's like, maybe, I don't know. Ellie tried to be coy with it, and it didn't work. Even during her talk with Gabler, I think that was really her plan, to never give out names, make it seem as if the person that she was talking to was the one who suggested it, because I guess she's noticed that in previous seasons, the person who gives out the name, who actually says the name to get voted out, is the one who gets voted out. That's what happened with her. But when she talks with people who are not in her alliance, she tries as much as she can not to give names. She did it with Gabler. When who confronted whom? when she
Ellie.
confronted Gabler about the throwing her name under the bus, right? Throwing her under the bus, and then like Gabler was like, "So who opened my bag?" And she was like, "I don't know." And then Gabler started saying, "Was it Sammy?" She wasn't saying anything. Was it Janine? I'm not gonna say anything. She's my best friend. Like she did not want to say any name.
Yeah. All she was saying, I literally did not open your bag. Like,
which was true.
Which is true.
Literally, she did open her bag.
Yeah,
but
literally.
like what Zhao said, and you mentioned, she was the one who
it.
more or less gave the command, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something else that was pointed out by one of the other podcasts, she seemed very standoffish when confronted about like the bag thing, right? Like instead of trying to appease the Ellie Gabler, she tried to bite back, you know, which just isn't the move in a game about politics, right? Like you know, you're not supposed to be combative in Survivor.
Yeah, you're supposed to find the best, the closest to a win-win.
Yeah, basically
an adverse circumstance or situation.
Yeah, like it's it's like something along the lines perhaps of yeah, that was my bad. That was my bad, but you know, what can we do to stay Baka strong? Instead of saying you're an idiot, now we have to be Baka strong. You know,
like in the Hongo, Baka strong.
But yeah, I mean, even especially to someone as, I think, also as equally stubborn as Gabler.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the older castaways on this season, and that's not the way to. I think she also underestimated Gabler.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she thought that Gabler was someone that she could just play around with. But no, the Ellie Gabler is surfacing, and now we'll take a bite. Right.
See, I think it might have been Stephen Fishbach in the Know-It-Alls, right, where he mentioned that perhaps he could have played up perhaps she could have played to Gabler's like being a father, like come across as one of his daughters apologizing for crashing the car, you know.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Daddy. You know, like you know, none of those words, but you know, like play to that, right? You know, and you know, cut to a confessional of Gabler saying like, "Oh man, it reminds me of my daughter."
And then he like wiped tears from his eyes.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that, Martz?
She just played sloppy. I mean, I think she should not have just like,
she should not what?
She should not have scrambled that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well, one threat down. The ass man lives on.
There was they were. I remember us being quite high on her right at the beginning. Of the season, and then,
because of the episode 1.
And then little by little, it started like the show started eroding our impression of her until it became rather predictable that she was going to be booted out. And the thing that sealed it was right at the beginning, her saying something along the lines of, "I'm good at this game."
Yeah.
If anybody ever says I'm good at this game, you know that they're going home. Like that was Gio's mistake as well, right? Like
True. That was his mistake. These guys who think too much of themselves, they're the ones who fall.
Yeah, because Jeff Probst likes the idea of Survivor, the game, being a monster, and you're not supposed to be able to defeat the monster. The most you can do is learn to live within its realm, right? And so, to those that dare say that they can slay the monster that is Survivor, they get a dodo edit.
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah.
And that is what Ellie got, especially with this episode.
Basically.
Yeah,
she reminds me of, I've had students like her.
Really?
That they're very, very smart, but then very book smart, which isn't the way to win Survivor. Like, it's tremendously easy to grade their papers, but they aren't going to be your favorite students. Like, at least for me, right? Because I know that there are those teachers that really love students that are like, oh, here's a paper, sir, is instantly 100%, whatever. But you have somebody like Carla, you have somebody like Jesse, who are both book smart but are more street smart, or are both book and street smart, but you can tell that their wealth of experience and their street smarts are the things that are getting them through this game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are the people that I always root for. Back when I was a corrupter of youths.
Corrupter of youth.
Corrupter of youths.
Right. Showing them, showing them, pointing them in the direction of social realities for their eventual disillusionment and eventual sort of becoming jaded with the world and
start them early.
Start them in high school.
Yeah.
Start them in high school.
Yeah. Dispel their idealism that early.
Yeah. This is the world you live in.
Yeah.
Live with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Going to lighter stuff. For me, one of my lows is that realizing that there actually was the inter-tribe alliance, which I wanted to happen, wasn't there. Right? Sadly, it's not there. Thanks to Ellie too, I guess. But even before then, I think that I saw the behavior of the three groups, and it still felt as if, at least for this episode, it still felt as if, despite sharing a beach, they were all still behaving like separate tribes, looking out for what's good for their tribe, not looking out, not looking for like the biggest threat, and then okay, we have to eliminate the biggest threat, because usually when you start getting into the merge, that's when tribal lines get dissolved, right?
Yeah.
And you start looking out for yourself personally, but for some reason, for this one, they're still looking out for their tribe as a unit. So much so that Ryan found himself a spot in Coco for this episode, right? Aside from being Spider-Man. Yeah, and the fact that he didn't flip on Coco. He didn't flip on Coco and start working with Baka or Bessie or whoever he could, because he among the four on Coco, he was the one on the outs, right? And then Gabler didn't flip on Baka. Not necessarily. I mean, he flipped on. He didn't flip on. He flipped on Ellie and Janine, but he still had the link with Owen and Sammy. He didn't go around looking for alliances in the other tribes. Right? He just threw the nuke and then left. Okay, and then this is my vote. I don't care what happens. This is my vote. Right? Yeah. But he didn't. Yeah, for some reason, the three tribes still behaved like three tribes. So yeah.
Well, they technically aren't merged, so maybe.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
why.
true.
Yeah.
Right.
They just it's just a one world. setup right now.
Yeah, one world for one day, because like there was a there was I can't remember who it was, but a line that stood out to me was, um, uh, we just have to get the two of us through this. Was it right? Because like I can't remember who it was, but it was like, we got to keep the tribe, like we go tribe strong, because there are more of us that are at risk of being eliminated. So
Oh, so this must be among the 6 that didn't get the immunity.
Yeah. So it might have been Coco, somebody from Coco, or somebody from Baka. And I think it might have been like Sammy saying like, or
because it was Sammy. Who was on that? It was Sammy, Ellie, and no, it wasn't Gabler. Was Owen on that side? Owen, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it was probably Sammy to Owen, right?
Yeah, or it might have been like Ellie, one of Ellie's pitches to Gabler, like, let's just get past this and into the merge with numbers, basically.
Because they're they're the ones with 5.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. By the way, good call on Survivor's production team, for always supplying alcohol during the merge meal or the merge feast.
Yeah.
Because like I'm pretty sure that's partly why Gabler like had the cojones to like actually drop a name.
Yeah.
Right? Like because he was one of the people that was having a beer.
Mm-hmm. And it might have been a move by Carla, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Carla realizing that people were being secretive. Okay, let's use some liquid courage to loosen the tongues of all of these guys, right?
She got one and then some.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, I'm gonna again. I'm getting high on Carla. I'm gonna attribute that to her.
Yeah. All right. And that is the official stand of the Council of Titos.
The Titos have spoken.
This was a big brain move on Carla's part.
Yes.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if it was.
Yeah. Marts, any other lows?
Nope. That's it.
Wow, you really like this episode.
Yes.
Zhao?
Owen.
Why? Still siding with Ellie and Janine?
Yeah, he's one of the people that I quite like. Being in the education industry, being Asian.
Oh no, we're being Asian parents to him. Not good enough. We're stereotyping ourselves in one episode.
Yeah, he hasn't really affected the episode or the season that much.
He hasn't he hasn't lived up to his full potential, shall we say. He was one of the very early favorites of like /r/Survivor. He was one of the early favorites, but hey, it is what it is. Funny thing about Owen though, it's either he's not doing so well or he's in such a great spot, because like he's completely he's one of those under the radar people coming into the merge, and it's like he was there when Janine when Janine went through Gabler's bag. But like when he was confronted, or when Sammy told him like, hey, Janine and Ellie went through Gabler's bag, he was like, oh really? Wow. Oh. Like, my gosh. What is this? Right? And, neither Ellie nor Janine threw his name under the bus, and he and you know it was Janine and Ellie that got the brunt of it when he was like sneaky, he was there basically, right? So he's either in a terrible spot or a great spot.
Yeah, right smack in the middle, probably.
Right? Yeah.
And then we did have like another right smack in the middle from season 41 who won it all. Erica was right smack in the middle. That's why she was the one who had the hourglass. Because she was right smack in the middle of everything. But so who knows? Owen might still have a trajectory to
he has a path to the end, basically.
To the end, yeah.
Speaking of Erica and the one in the middle, I found the letting Noelle choose a tribe and ride or die. I found that kind of dumb. Good. I found it dumb.
Really?
Dumb?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why? Why so?
It's supposed to be Exiled Island again?
I mean, it's like they could have kept the episode a little bit later, or like they
waited until they had even numbers.
Until they had even numbers to have the Mergatory episode, or something.
True.
Something to that effect, because like Noelle was just useless.
It happened in previous seasons, like Baka I think it happened in No, actually, it didn't happen in 41, didn't it? Like I know before, like the first 40 seasons, one or two of them had this kind of setup too. Like you pick a side to win. If they win, you join the reward. If you lose, not. Sometimes it's the reverse, where two groups get to a challenge. They win. They can decide to pick that person who didn't get to the challenge to join them or not. It happens sometimes. Because remember, I think in Game Changers, Joel, if you saw this episode, the one who sat out in the challenge had an advantage in the thing, and I think that's what happened in 42 or 41. Xander, he missed the advantage in that bench, but it's not like the two tribe challenge. It's similar to this one. I think it's okay. So long as you don't bring her to an exile island and have a cons of, the shillelagh of time.
Well, I think something that could have been more interesting is the winning tribe gets to decide whether or not they take her to the immunity, whether or not she gets immunity and the meal, or whether or she goes with the losing tribe and is up for elimination. That adds a little bit more friction and drama.
True.
Actually, that would have been better. Yeah, now that you mention it.
True.
That would have been better.
Yeah. Well, something for Survivor to think about now that they've taken away the shillelagh of time.
Shillelagh.
This will be the next part of it. Yeah. Well, for me, my only other low for this episode was the fact that the shot in the dark wasn't played. This would have been like the perfect time. But then again, we are coming from the point of view of audiences who know what's happening, what's what. But Ellie didn't know. Or for the most part. But what I did notice was that Probst mentioned it. This was the first episode when he mentioned it, where he mentioned the shot in the dark as one of the things that can be used, right? And with that, I really thought that Ellie was going to use it, and hopefully she would have used it correctly, right? And gotten the correct outcome. But we still do not have a correct play of the shot in the dark, and that's sad for me.
Well, no, I mean it's just never worked. A lot of the times the shot in the dark was played. No, the times the shot in the dark were played, they were played correctly. They just didn't work.
They just didn't work. They just didn't come out with the right outcome for the person who played them.
Yeah, like I go back to Zach, right? In 42. Yeah, in 42. Like that was that was the exact correct way to play the shot in the dark. It just didn't work.
Yeah, and the wrong way to play it would have been Gabler saying that he was gonna play it in episode 1.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Goes to show you the strategic mind, the strategy that goes on in Gabler's mind.
Such a genius.
Yeah.
Would he have
genius?
Do you think he should have played his idol for anybody? Just like fun?
No, I think it was best it stuck to him. It would have been like worse.
Why?
Look, if he fully trusted Ellie and Janine, holy smokes, man.
I mean, like, what I mean was, like, maybe play it for somebody on the other tribe. Play it for Carla. Play it for James. Just play it on anybody.
Play
as
it
a
for
sign of goodwill.
Exactly. That was actually what that's one of the thoughts that I had.
That could have been.
He could have.
Yeah, that's a miss. That's
he could have solidified an alliance if he played it. I have here the list of the others who were on the 6. So either James, Cassidy, Sammy, or Owen. Right. He could have played it for either one of them. Not probably. Yeah, he could have, especially with Sammy or Owen, maybe just to tell them, okay, remember it's the 3 of us. Right.
Just
it's
the
3 of us on Baka. Right. James and Cassidy, a little bit more getting to know what need to happen before he can use that move to tell them that, okay, this is me giving you my idol. Right.
Yeah, and it would have been it would have been essentially him giving Ellie the finger on her way out, right? Was like, I know that this idol lasts until my second tribal council, which is today, so I'm going to play it on Owen or something like that.
In your face.
Yeah. Owen, the guy who said
me
who is with you.
Like, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. It was a missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, he was gonna bring it to his daughter.
His daughter. But
actually,
where was that? In one of the streams, apparently they're not allowed to bring home stuff.
What?
Like these trinkets as souvenirs. I think it's part of the rules now. They can bring home like maybe the beads and stuff, but not because Survivor does Survivor auctions after
Survivor auctions
season,
for
right?
charity. Yeah, that's true.
So that's probably why they don't allow them to bring home all of these things. So
that's true. Yeah.
So it's totally useless now. It will now be up for auction at the end of the season.
Tragic.
Does he get right of first refusal?
I don't know. I hope so. I hope so.
I hope. Like,
he sort of earned it, right? With how he found it. Anyway, any other lows, Joe?
I mean, that's all in all, man, amazing episode. Like even the lows that we had were just like personal. Like, oh man,
should have been better.
It wasn't a knock.
That's bad.
Not a knock on the show so much as like just our feelings towards the players. Strategies or game plans or whatever, which really technically aren't lows within the conception of the show, but because those could also be highs. They made for great television. It was good storytelling. Them telling us why Ellie was the one that was on the chopping block, that sort of thing. So if anything, I would like to retroactively make the prior episodes lows because this episode just outshined all of the previous episodes of the season.
Well, at least it all led up to this. Right? It all led up to this episode. The car crash.
Man.
Showing us how people who feel too good about themselves are the ones who get chopped off. Right? You have all of that. You have all of that happening, and it's all set up in previous episodes. Yeah. So that's it for the lows. Let's go ahead to our predictions and stuff that we want to see. Who wants to start us off?
Janine and Ryan are gonna do really well.
Janine and Ryan are gonna do really well because they're now at the bottom.
Yeah, well, no, not Ryan though. Sorry,
Not Ryan. Come on,
not Ryan. He
Oh.
was the one that said that they're going to be like the final 7.
Oh yeah.
Cricket.
Pound 7. Pound 7.
Yeah. That was too funny.
No.
I'm just gonna say this. This can be final 7, and they're like,
it was like the tribal council that that Geo was knocked out, that Geo was knocked out of, and he was like,
Yeah.
I'm a giver, and then cut to Cassidy like rolling her eyes. That was another one of those ones. But Janine is going to do well moving forward. If again, she's either in a great spot or a horrible spot, but I'm going to say that she's going to be in a great spot because Asian.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's playing from the bottom with an idol.
mm.
And that's a great spot to be in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to being like part of a tightly knit alliance. She's a free agent with an idol to back up her, and she isn't going to be seen as a super big threat or anything, right? Like, she's managed to manage her threat levels, I suppose. So yeah, that's one of my moving forward things. She's going to do pretty well moving forward.
We'll see how she manages to climb her way out of the bottom that she's in right now.
Yeah, basically the Rob Sesternino play of jumping from alliance to alliance to get the majority.
So long as it's not me. So long as it's not me.
Yeah.
The Sandra Diaz-Twine
strategy.
Oh, funny that you mentioned Sandra Diaz-Twine, Martin, because I already said this earlier, but I do see the emergence of the Queen 2.0 in Carla.
Oh,
I do think that Carla is coming out as Queen 2.0. She gives me Sandra vibes without being too overtly villainous, because with Sandra, that she's a villain. But Carla's a little
sneaky.
Yeah, she's sneaky. She's a little more mellow. She doesn't have don't vote against the Queen. She doesn't have all of those things. She just observes and she talks with James about things. And it's probably a little bit of a mix between Sandra and Siri. Right? For me, that's her game. Right? Again, subverting expectations. My personal expectations based on what I saw from her in prior to the season, and just gutting it out, but using her brains to get ahead. And I think I'm all in on Carla, but I'm probably halfway on Carla's side and halfway also on my man. The Ellie Gabler.
Ellie Gabler. Well, of course, I still love me some ass man. So Cody's still there. I'm good with Cody and Jesse. Yeah, of course.
Yo, Jesse is still my
guy.
Jesse's still my winner pick, right? Because he was the one that got credit for knocking out Justine. So whoever gets credit for knocking out Jesse is going to be my next winner pick, assuming Jesse doesn't win. But he will.
Yeah, assuming that he doesn't win. Any other predictions or stuff that you want to see? Martz, what about you?
For me, let's go ass man.
No, stuff that you want to see. Stuff that you want to see.
Stuff I want to see. Well, it's gonna be merged now, so you know what? I'll go all in too. Let's see a Gabler individual immunity challenge from after tanking it in the first few episodes. Oh, you think I'm a suck? That goes on to win every freaking single immunity challenge.
Yeah, the transformation of Gabler into Jonathan Young.
When the hell did this happen?
The Ellie Gabler.
The Ellie Gabler is surfacing.
His whole thing about going into hibernation was just sort of preparing himself. Oh man. So you're thinking it's going to be a Gabler immunity run in the coming episodes?
Marts?
Yeah, let's see. It's interesting to see this, so I'll say yeah, sure. Why not?
Nice. I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
I'd like to see that actually. That'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty.
Or at the
Just to
very
have
least,
a
I'd like
really
to see
cool.
him become like this, like fierce competitor in individual immunity challenges. Because we kind of don't really see it. He just
True.
looks badass with mud on his face.
Yeah. Here's some money in your ah.
Cody could be a challenge beast as well. Thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Because he's
And Sammy could be
Oh.
a challenge beast.
It might, individual immunity challenges might be Sammy's, and even Owen, I think, can hack it in individual immunity, right? Because Sammy and Owen strike me as guys who aren't only strong, but they're also smart.
Yeah, and a lot of them have to. Well, actually, the individual immunity challenges aren't so much tests of pure strength.
Mm.
Like if you look at least how I imagine the formulation of Survivor, like well, there's that thing about how the first bunch of people voted off were women, right?
Yeah.
Like 5 out of 6
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
were women. Gio being the only one that wasn't. But I can see just a bunch of the guys just going down one by one. I mean, not because one, like statistically, yes, there's a larger chance of guys going down, but the way that the individual immunity challenges work aren't tests of pure strength, right? You have some of those endurance ones, which are a little bit more balanced. You have those fine motor skills ones, which I would think that overall women would do better than men in, right? So like I see a bunch of guys getting knocked out until we have like a final final four that's 2 guys and 2 girls.
Oh, so that's your bold prediction right now. The final four is going to be 2 guys and 2 girls.
Yeah.
Nice.
2 guys
Okay.
and 2 girls.
Any other stuff you'd like to see before I get to? I have a couple of questions that are like that have become staple in our episodes, but they fit right here in the predictions.
Okay.
Yeah. So my first one would be, who gets the line? There hasn't been a. I've checked IMDb. There's no title yet, but I heard from Node Buffs that it's supposedly Bull in a China shop.
Yeah, Bull in a China. Yeah. Or at least that's what it says on Wikipedia.
Oh, it's on Wiki. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not yet on IMDb. IMDb still tags it as episode 7. So anyway, so who gets the line? Bull in a China shop.
Cody.
You're saying Cody? Right. Is it
Gabler.
in the lines of No Mercy?
Well, actually, Cody isn't one to speak it. Who speaks in cliches? Yeah, platitudes and cliches. Who would strike you as one that speaks in cliches?
Gosh, I don't know.
I mean, it's either Cody or Owen.
But I was gonna say Owen.
Owen.
But you know what? Screw it. Left field. Gabler.
Wow, I think I've converted Martin into a Gabler stan as well.
No, for me, it's like, you know, throw the weirdest answer for now. It might stick. I mean, Cassidy, really? Fine,
But
Gabler.
yeah,
Wait, no,
but
no.
mm,
I changed that. I changed that. That's too
two,
obvious. Dwight. There.
Dwight.
Dwight.
Yeah, Dwight could work. Yeah,
It
because
could.
I have a hard time thinking it's Gabler because
Yeah.
he
But
already has his animal,
yeah.
the alligator.
Yeah, the
So
alligator. So
saying
like
something like a bull in a china shop might not fit.
Well, who would the bull in the China? Who could they be referring to? That's another. Uh,
Gabler, you're thinking it's Gabler?
it's
For
the
me,
bull.
I'm thinking it might be someone like Janine
Mean.
because
Why
she's
though?
gonna try and blow up everything. Right?
Huh.
She's fighting from the bottom. So I think that she's gonna try and blow up everything. So everyone's gonna be too nicey nice, and then
Too
she's gonna be
nicey
the one who's gonna
nicey.
try and blow up everything.
and then somebody's going to refer to her as a bull in China shop.
Yeah.
The most like obvious, straightforward one would be something like Owen talking about Gabler,
Which you said a number of times already.
right? Like we,
Yeah.
by, I pretty much, I said as much by calling him a tsunami, right? you know, sort of just this indiscriminate kind of like
Yeah.
leaving
Yeah.
behind a path of destruction, which is
Mm-hmm.
a bull in a china shop essentially. But that seems a little bit too obvious,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And knowing how Survivor has been picking up these lines.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna go for a left field answer. It's going to be Carla talking about Cody.
Carla talking about Cody. Okay, so for Martin, we've got who you've got who talking about Gabler?
Oh, Gabler? Dwight.
Dwight
Dwight
talking
talking
about
about
Gabler.
Gabler.
And
Hmm.
then for
Yeah.
Zhao, it's Carla talking about
Cody.
Cody. Oh,
Cody.
that works. That works. For me, I actually I'll go with the Owen. Owen talking about Janine. No, sorry. I'll go with Sammy talking about Janine.
Sammy talking about Janine.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll check that out.
Yeah.
But I'm also getting the impression that our random vote thrown out in case the shot in the dark is played and succeeds is Owen. Like we all think that Owen is like our second pick. He's like our backup vote.
Yeah.
Yes. Go Owen. We believe in you.
Okay. My second question. We saw in the preview that there's an in-camp advantage. Who do you think is
Wait,
gonna
who's
get the
gonna get
in-camp
that?
advantage?
It's not gonna
And
be
what is
Gabler.
it gonna be?
Oh, I hate to say this. It might be. What advantage was the one that wasn't part of the edit last season that they just edit it out because it had no.
Oh, wasn't that the
What?
steal a vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Was it?
was it
Or
I
was it a
remember
extra
I
vote?
remember I remember Omer had it. I think it might
Yeah.
have been a steal a vote.
Omer had it. I think it's another steal a vote, and let's see who might get it. For me, who's usually in like who's a Seltzer guy here? Like who doesn't do work?
Gabler. He's the one who hibernates.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This is too perfect, Gabler. Like everyone says, guys, there's an advantage in the hut. Oh, let's get it. Who's in there? Gabler.
The alligator.
So
Gonna
like
snap
I've
up.
been having a problem like lying on my back here at this shelter, but apparently there's something underneath it. Just ironically gets the advantage.
Huh. That's
By dumb luck.
What about you, Joe? Who's getting it and what is it gonna be?
huh. Is it gonna be another beware advantage? I'm thinking
I don't think so.
Or is the beware advantage part of it?
Because
The
you're already
fact
risking that it's there.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I was
no,
that's what I was
it's
gonna say.
possible. It's
It might
possible
have
because
been
it might have been the beware advantage might have told them about the advantage underneath
Oh, yeah.
the shelter.
yeah,
Yeah,
True, man.
because who was it that mentioned that there's an advantage under the shelter? Was it Dwight?
Dwight. It was Dwight,
Right?
or at least
Because
it
it
the the picture was that Dwight was in the middle. I couldn't quite recognize if it was his voice that was saying it,
yeah,
but yeah,
basically the impression that we're getting is that it was Dwight in the same way that um the impression that we got last season, which was the wrong impression, was that Tori got
Tori.
the
Yeah.
weird advantage. But right, it could conceivably it could have been Dwight, or somebody picking up a beware advantage,
Mhm.
and the beware advantage says like there is an
There's something hidden
advantage.
underneath the shelter.
Yeah, something is hidden underneath the shelter. Um, if and the way for you to be able to do it is not get caught.
Let's do it, guys.
But if that's the case, then Dwight saying it would have negated the advantage already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Not get caught doing it, but you can tell other
uh-huh.
people about it, I guess.
Or maybe that
The-
you need to pick a team to help you recover the advantage, right?
yeah, or
Uh,
you get somebody else to get it for you.
yeah, or something like that, right?
And
And they
it's
get
like
a certain advantage, but it's of uh, a lower type of advantage. I don't know.
it could be right, this is like this isn't what I think it is. This is like fan fictiony territory, right?
Mhm.
But
And
it could be like three advantages hidden somewhere in the camp, right? And fairly populated places. Like there's an advantage under the shelter. There is an advantage in the water or by the water well, whatever. And like the three people that find it have to like work together
Oh,
or
just
kick
like
each other out.
the advantage. What was that again? The alliance. What was
Yeah,
alliance amulet?
yeah that
Advantage amulet.
that yeah that
Advanced
one.
Sageddon.
The one with Drea and Hai
Yeah,
and like that
and Lindsay. And
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Yeah, that one.
Mm. That would be interesting for them to put that in that way. Hmm.
Yeah.
That would be cool. That would be cool. If that's not gonna be how it's done, then Jeff Probst, you heard it here first from Zhao.
Right.
In future seasons, you might want to think about doing that.
And it becomes less powerful every time somebody finds the next one.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Nice. Nice.
Really.
Hmm.
So it's a
Interesting.
full idol. Then it becomes a whatever the other steal a vote or an extra
Yeah.
vote and a steal. Yeah, that basically. That's what I want it to be.
Yeah.
It's probably just
I'm
going to be
just-
something dumb like an extra vote.
or like you get to keep this and bring it home. All right.
Ooh.
Or
Okay.
could it be knowledge is power?
But knowledge is power is already in play, isn't it?
It's
Yeah,
done,
not
right?
anymore. Not anymore because they voted
Geo.
out.
Oh,
Geo's
yeah.
gone,
Yeah,
man.
because Geo left. So do they
Oh, it could be that.
recirculate that
Yeah, they
advantage?
recirculate it.
So it's like Carl is getting flashbacks now.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Basically, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking
dear
of
God.
knowledge being power, do you think that Carla's immunity idol will get found out by this next episode?
Hasn't it been
Oh,
found out already or
Nope.
no?
yep.
Because
Hmm.
none of the Coco know about it. But remember, who was it? It was Ryan who told Ellie and Janine about.
Oh.
Was it Ryan? No, it wasn't Ryan. It was, who was it? No, it was your boy. It was Cody.
Cody?
No, it wasn't Cody. Who was it?
No, they were talking about
darn.
Cody's hat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember?
Noel talked about
Noel.
Noel
There
were
you go.
talking
Noel
about
talked about
Cody's
Cody's
hat.
hat.
Yeah.
And basically
Know about
everybody in Baka knows about
Janine's.
Janine's idol. The only one of those beware advantages that people don't know anything about is Carla's.
Yeah.
And I
Holy shit. But if they'll put 2 and 2 together, it's not gonna be that long.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. So Joel's
It's
asking,
not
is
that
it gonna
hard.
come out? Is it gonna come
Is it
out
gonna
next
come out in the next
episode?
episode?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
And the reason I say that is because um there might be too much by way of advantage to keep up with.
Yeah.
So like if I know, it looks like the whatever advantage is under the shelter is going to be the MacGuffin of the episode.
Oh.
Ooh.
Not unless like Gabler throws another nuke. Like someone tells him about Carla getting beads, and like he's like, oh no, what happened with Janine is not gonna happen again. So during tribal he goes ahead and says, you know that Carla has been collecting beads, right? That's what you did too, right, Janine?
Boom, live tribal.
Boom.
and Noel is like, Cody, you didn't tell me. Oh, trust is currency. Oh.
And all because of the Ellie Gabler, right?
Hey, I
The
have
bull in
living
the China
tattooed
shop.
on my butt.
The
not
bull in the China.
trust.
That would
Not
be a bull in a
trust.
China shop situation.
Yeah,
Basically,
Right?
yeah.
Right?
basically.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Nice. Wow. So let's see what is gonna happen next episode to see if if any of our predictions hit. Moving on.
These aren't predictions. This is fan fiction.
Yeah, this is fan fiction of the. Speaking of being fans, let's go to our survivors of the week. Let's start with our castaway of the week. Who performed the best for this past episode? Let's start with Martin.
Begrudgingly, I'll put it to Gabler. Not because of the
Because of the
strategy,
nuke.
but because wow. That's the best TV I've ever seen in Survivor in a long while.
I think we're unanimous. I think we're unanimous in that, right?
Yeah, the nuke by Gabler. That is the move of the week. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and go with goat of the week. Who is looking more and more like the castaway who's gonna just get brought all the way to the final to be the person, the person that they can win against?
Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan for Joe. What about you, Martz?
Oh wait, what's the question? Sorry.
Goat of the week.
Oh,
I mean, if we're going goat like in that sense, Ryan. But then if we're talking about who lost the week other than the person that didn't get
that got voted out,
that got voted out, because like sometimes I interpret
me.
goat of the week to mean that as well.
That's it. Janine.
Janine for you.
Janine for that, but
her strongest ally is gone.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Janine lost for the week, but when we're talking about the goat of the when we're talking about the goat, probably Ryan. Spider-Man. Sad to say.
I think.
Well, for me, it's looking. Unfortunately, it's looking a little bit more and more like Owen. Because for me, Ryan actually looks like a meat shield.
Oh yeah, actually, he does look like a piece of meat shield.
They're gonna keep him there, right? He's in a way that's also being goat, because that he's not gonna win, so you can keep him there until
you're not gonna get any votes.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be a Xander type thing without this kind of voice line. Yeah. Maybe, right?
All right. What about purple of the week?
Oh God.
Who did you not feel for
That's
this episode?
That's a tough one.
Almost
It's
everyone.
tough because it's a merge.
I can't
Yeah.
say.
Or a pre-merge episode.
Yeah, but then like everybody pretty much was
Like everyone had a role. Even
Jesse.
Jesse
I was actually gonna say Jesse was pretty low key because he
Yeah.
usually has like a voice in an
Yeah,
episode.
he's one of the narrators.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like your narrators are usually Owen, Sammy, Jesse, and for Coco.
For Coco, they
Carla,
actually Carla is the
James.
closest. Yeah, Carla is the closest. James doesn't really get a lot of testimonials, I think.
Yeah, but then, there's what's it? There are those confessionals that are narrators, like what's going on, as opposed to
Talking strategy.
confessionals that are talking strategy, and confessionals that are sort of spice. I like to think of them as, just sort of like a little bit of drama, like, oh my God, I hate that bitch, like that sort of confessional.
Yeah, that kind of confession.
Right? But like the ones to kind of look out for are the ones that have the narrator role.
Yeah, and it was
like,
Jesse for me.
Jesse was a bit absent.
Yeah,
except like near the end.
Yeah, and
So,
he didn't give very much.
But he wasn't a player in this. I mean, as much as Gabler was the prime mover of what happened in this episode, Jesse wasn't really a player in that game.
Yeah, so he. Although it looks like next week he's gonna have a bigger role, no?
Yeah.
But for this week, the most invisible player feels like it was Jesse.
Yeah. But mostly because we've seen a lot of him then in previous episodes. I mean, he's been very visible. Like what you said, he's one of the narrators. So to not get a lot of him in this episode, it became obvious. Right.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Maybe Cassidy as well?
Maybe.
I didn't feel her.
But she did get the line, though.
Much, right?
Yes, she got the line.
Yeah.
But by default, by default. But
anyway, right. Any other thoughts, gentlemen, about this episode?
For me, I think I exhausted all my oh my God, Gabler moments.
Okay.
This vindicated what those first 5 episodes basically. Because like the episodes were pretty standard run of the mill, with the exception of the Baka story. But then like this merge episode was sort of the thing that vindicated those first couple of episodes that were admittedly kind of slow.
Yeah, I'm now excited to see what the next big piece of drama is gonna be. Right?
This is gonna be a great post-merge, man. It's gonna be like,
because we've already resolved the car crash, the Baka car crash. What's next? Right? It's gonna be an all-out war, and the Ellie Gabler. Normandy, exactly, precisely. That's why, Normandy would have been a better title for this. Okay, and that is it for this episode of the Council of Titos. If you liked our video, hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel. Also consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever we come up with new content on the Laro-Laro channel. This channel has other shows on it focused on sports and other similar things. And for those of you who don't want to have to look at our mugs as we talk Survivor, you can catch us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Council of Titos and you'll find our voices there. Anyway, this has been Chief Bisdak Joel Parkon.
Hi, I'm Jal. I was thinking of a pun animal name, but the best I could come up with was cow, and I don't want to be a cow. So, hi.
Okay. And my name is Martin. You can also hear me on channel14.com. And guess that's it.
All right. So we hope that you can join us in the council again soon. Until then, stay safe, stay dry, everyone. This rainy, stormy weekend. The Titos have spoken.